Maruda, and today we're going to take a look at the Star Wars Micro Machines Epic Collections number 2 Jedi Search set by Galoob. Now this set is based on the novel Jedi Search, and just to give you a quick comparison, here I have the novel which I have read, as well as the entire Jedi Academy Trilogy. While it was no Thrawn trilogy, I think it was still a ton of fun despite its flaws, but we'll get into more talk about that later. And it just had that same cover that we saw on the book I just showed, and it has this little sticker here which I tried to peel off but started to ruin the artwork, so I didn't want to do that. But when you open it up, you got all the little figures and vehicles that come in this set. You got Admiral Dala, the Sun Crusher, Z95 Head Hunter, Kip Duran, Morth Dol, and the TIE Fighter, as well as a little description of the story if you want to read it, pause and read if you like. On this side, you can see artwork of Lando Calrissian, as well as the Death Star prototype from the story. And you got the Galoob logo there. And I forgot to show you up here, but it does say, if I get the camera to focus, Micro Machines Epic Collections, look inside. And then on the back, it just shows you some of the other stuff that they did with the Expanded Universe Micro Machines sets, like Heir to the Empire, the Jedi Search, which I have here, and the Truce at Bakura right here, which I'm not going to get this one because I never read the novel, but I have read the comic adaptation of the Thrawn trilogy, so I'll probably pick up this eventually. And this was apparently worth 4 micro points. And that's basically it for the packaging. So let's open this set up and let's see how awesome this set truly is. And here we have the set unboxed. I'm going to say it off the bat that this set is really cool, yet really small, and give you guys a quick size comparison. Here it is, here they are, next to a Matchbox car. And as you can see, the Matchbox car just dwarfs them all. And this is the first time I've ever handled Micro Machines in my life, and I'm pretty impressed by them. Well, for the most part. Let's start by taking a look at Morth Dol. He doesn't really have that much detail on the face, but you can see some brown paint on there. I believe that's his mechanical eye. He's got what looks to be a yellowish little thing here on his neck and onto his back. He's got an orange little overalls. He's got a little device. I think that's a control device that he used in the novel to control the slaves on the planet. It's been a while since I read Jedi Search, but the entire trilogy as a whole is still stuck in my mind because I recently finished Champions of the Force, which is the final book in the trilogy. And he's really interesting. And he's also got these sandals on his feet, and he's on this little stand thing. You can't take him off the stand. But he was a very interesting villain in the story, and he gave Han and Chewie a really hard time in Castle after shooting down the Millennium Falcon, and they were like in the mines getting attacked by giant bugs as they're mining spice. And fun fact, spice in the Star Wars universe is basically drugs, so it's not like the spices that we use on Earth. It's pretty crazy, but he was quite an interesting villain, and he had a very crazy fate in Champions of the Force. I think he was attacked by one of the giant bugs or something. If I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments down below. But that's Morth Dol. Let's move on to Admiral Dala. Now, Admiral Dala was another neat villain in the trilogy. While she was no Grand Admiral Thrawn, and she often failed miserably with her plans, and she'd have giant fits, and she kind of felt like an 80s cartoon villain, she was still a neat character, and she actually, from what I heard, grows as a character as the saga goes on in the Expanded Universe. And she's got no face whatsoever. She kind of looks like a Slender Woman. Absolutely creepy. And she's got an oversized blaster, and she's got what looks like a standard Imperial uniform. Not much to really say about her other than that. Now let's move on to Kip Duran. Now, Kip Duran was the real star of this trilogy. He was found in Castle by Han and Chewie, and he had connections with the Force that was being trained by some lady underground. And he helped Han and Chewie escape. They went to the black hole cluster, and they went to the Maw installation when they got captured by Dala. And he eventually helped them escape again, after they stole the Sun Crusher, which we'll get more into there. And he went to Luke's academy, and they trained, and he was pretty much a kind of a prodigy, one of Luke's best students at the time. But then he fell to the dark side, and he wanted to get revenge on the Imperials for what they did to his family. And a lot of people like to compare Kylo Ren to Jason Solo / Darth Caedus, but I'd say Kip Duran's a lot more like Kylo Ren because he is also a really angsty teen-like character. Well, he is a teenager at this point in the timeline, but he's just really angsty, he's really edgy, and he gets crazy too. Like, towards the end of Dark Apprentice, the second book, Luke confronts him and it's like, alright, Exar Kun's evil, he's corrupted you, you've fallen to the dark side, I've fallen to the dark side with the resurrected Palpatine and everything, so I want you to just go back to the light and we just go back to our training. And then Kip Duran, he's just like, nah, that's just stupid, like your face. And then he just zaps him with Force Lightning and he goes on a little rampage with the Sun Crusher. Pretty crazy. Now as for the little figurine, like Admiral Dala, he has no face, he's creepy, he's got purple robes and a gray belt, gray boots, he's got a nice black cape, it's got some nice detail on it, but not much to say other than that. So let's move on to the vehicle, starting with the TIE Interceptor. Now the TIE Interceptor is really nice looking, it's also got some really nice detail, as you can see all around, and it comes with a little stand which can be removed from. It's got some red at the back there. Now this is a repack of the other TIE Interceptors that were released in the Micro Machines line, and this is just a repack. I'll just throw it in there, but that's not a big deal because you can fleet build with these. And now a small problem I have with it is that I think one of the wings are a little warped. I could be wrong, but something just feels a little off. Also, these wings are made of a flexible plastic. I feel like this could break if you're not careful. But as long as you have it displayed like on a bookshelf or something, I don't think it's really a big deal. Speaking of bookshelves, I'm actually planning to have a whole fleet of these types of ships, of these Micro Machines, on my bookshelf with all the Star Wars Legends novels I've been reading. And as for its role in the story, Kip Duran, Han, and Chewie escape from Dala. They get chased by a bunch of TIE fighters and stuff like that, and a bunch of TIE Interceptors, TIE bombers, and then they run into more of Thul's fleet, and then they kind of get caught into each other and start tearing each other apart. And it's actually a very cool space battle from the book, and that was, for me, that was the highlight of Jedi Search. Not much to say other than that, so let's move on to the Z95 Head Hunter. Now, the Z95 Head Hunter is meant to be a precursor to the X-Wing, and supposedly it was used during the Clone Wars, but we never actually saw it in the Clone Wars animated series or in the prequels or anything, which I find extremely odd. But unfortunately, the paint is pretty sloppy. As you can see, all the pink stuff is all over the place. It just looks really messy. And let's see if we can find, and some of the paint's a little sloppy here. Kind of feels like a knockoff, unfortunately, but this is the only time a Z95 Head Hunter actually made it into toy form. So I'm going to be content with what we got. Now, I don't remember the exact role of this ship in Jedi Search. I mean, it's been a while, but I believe this is one of Morthal's ships that was in his fleet. And Mara Jade, who was just there in Dark Apprentice, she had this ship, and Kip Duran stole it. He went full GTA on her, stole the ship, went to Quizooks and Widgeatelli's where they were at, and he used the Force to steal knowledge from Quizooks to get information about the Sun Crusher, and then he used the power of Force along with Exar Kun to take the Sun Crusher from Yavin, which was a gas giant planet, and he began his murderous rampage across the galaxy. And now, let's move on to our final ship. And here we have the Sun Crusher, which is the main reason you'd want to get this set. This is probably the craziest superweapon in all of science fiction, in my opinion. While the Death Star can blow up entire planets, this thing blows up entire solar systems by killing the star. Hence the name Sun Crusher. It's made of a quantanium armor, I think it's called, and makes it nearly impossible to destroy. And when Kip, Han, and Chewie stole this thing, they slammed into one of the Imperial Star Destroyers, and it just went through it like it was like the Star Destroyer was made out of paper. and it was just ridiculously powerful. Oh, nearly dropped the ship. And here's where the torpedoes fire out of, and the torpedoes are all stored in here. And it's got these blasters here, and it's even got a blaster on the back. Now the paint is a little bit sloppy on mine, but this is just a little micro machine, so I'll let it slide. But I could have sworn that this thing was supposed to be gold, because I've seen a lot of illustrations of the Sun Crusher having a gold, but it's this kind of grayish color, but I don't really mind that much. But the Sun Crusher in Champions of the Force, the third book, was eventually destroyed when Kip Duran flew this thing into a black hole. And that was the end of the Sun Crusher. But I think the New Republic could have benefited from the Sun Crusher, because eventually the Yuuzhan Vong invaded the galaxy, and the New Republic could have definitely used this against them. But it is what it is. And there you have my review on the Micro Machines Jedi Search set. And I think this is extremely fun. I can't wait to get more of these Micro Machines into my collection, because I do have quite a few ships that can fit action figures in, but those things can take up a lot of room, and these little Micro Machines are so tiny that you can just have entire shelves full of these things, and it's just really cool to collect. And I don't know, I can definitely see the appeal of Micro Machines. I can see why it was so successful. Now, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notification button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the flip side.